Because if my parents had gone through all these ceremony to give me Olushola, and then she calls me, oh, it's killing a big part of me. And so the answer to the question, what's in a name? And I say everything. Everything from identification, which is common to every culture. Names are tags, they are labels that every child carries to show who they are. So identification in terms of the person themselves, the genealogy, the ancestry, the profession of the family from where they come, the religious beliefs of not just the family, but the whole society, and then the social status of that child and their family. Names are also very important for the documentation of the child's and the family's histories, as we saw from the video. When I hear somebody's name, I know what happened when they were given birth to. Names also show the philosophy and the folk wisdom of the people. Names are also very important as an archive, a documentation of the changes that have occurred in the language. Okay, I hope we'll be able to see all this as we move on. Identification. That Yoruba proverb there means, because a child could get in trouble, that is why he or she has a name. Okay, so your name is attached to everything you do, either good or bad. These are a couple of examples of names, and I have tried to put them in 3 categories. Some names show the social status of the child as well as the family. Some names show the profession, the professional affiliation of the family, and some names simply depict the religion. These are just symbols. The crown there is the symbol of a king, okay, the most important person in the society. So each time a child has a name bearing king, then we know the child is from a royal family. This is a drummer there, it's a profession, and that grotesque figure there is a god. That is Egungun, the masquerade god. And then we have the linguistic processes, which you have in your handout. That is where we find out what has actually gone into the formation of names. The method here is that the student must have read this from home. I have a sample textbook there. Okay, so if you take pains to go through, you begin to see how Yoruba people form names, and the way we form names also represent the way we form words generally in the language. Usually we have about 4 methods, 4 processes of word formation, from affixation, which we are all familiar with, to compounding, to agglutination, and assimilation, which is a phonological thing. The students must have read this in their textbooks, and all you do in the class is introduce the aspect of culture to them. We have Adeola there, which means crown plus wealth. And that means this child belongs to a royal family, and in that royal family, they are very wealthy. So wealth and kingship go together. Okay, names also document the history of the child as well as the history of the family. Another Yoruba proverb. It means before you give a name to a child, you look at the family. You consider what has happened in the family before you give the name. A couple of examples here. Abiola, we saw a bit of them in the videos. And then the linguistic processes, affixation, agglutination, compounding. Agglutination here refers to a situation where you have what could have gone into a sentence actually being shrunk into a single word, and that happens a lot. My name is an example. Olushola, it has SVO pattern, and it means God makes wealth. But here we have it as just one name, and that is what happens in many of the Yoruba names, and that's why it's dangerous to just shorten them. Our names also record our philosophy and our folk wisdom. So if you want to know how Yoruba people think, ask for my name. ask for the name of anybody that comes from that culture, and you see the kind of wishes they make, the kind of prayers they offer to their gods, and the kind of coded messages that they try to pass to the world as a whole. Idaluni Ishelu, another proverb, it means the way a city was formed will determine the way it is governed, and that shows the way we think. A couple of examples there, from Oluwatobi to Apalara, Abanekonda. I will explain this. The linguistic process is absolute agglutination. Here we have names that are usually full messages. Some of these names actually contain about 3 or 4 sentences. Apalara, for instance, is a whole poem, but now it's somebody's name. So you have to use the process of clipping to reduce it and still retain the meaning. Apa there means the arm, and Ara is family. That simply says your arm is your best family. You can't afford to rely on somebody else. You rely on your arm. That means we think people should work hard if they want to make it in life, rather than depending on families or friends to supply their everyday needs. Names are also very important, as I said earlier, in documenting what has changed in the language, especially in terms of lexical changes. There are words we don't use anymore. Now, if you want to know these words, you just need to know the different names that people bear. A few examples. Okay, this is the way we used to dress in the past. This is the kind of houses we lived in. And names from Ashimolo, Onanuga, Oyadiji, these names contain some words that are no longer used in the language. And now we have the new words that have been substituted for those words. If you take pains to look at this, you see the words that have been changed. She in Ashimolo is no longer used. Now we say ya, but we don't say ayamolo. That would be too modern and the meaning will be lost. So we retain the old word she, and you still have Ashimolo, and that's like an archive. It's like a museum. You just need to look at that name and know that, okay, some words have changed. Some words are no longer used in that language. In conclusion, in Yoruba, as in many other cultures, names are very important aspects of the cultural perspectives, the practices, and the products. Names are also fossils and archives in which you can always find imprints of the past and contemporary patterns of linguistic processes if you look deep enough. Thank you very much. Thank you.